Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So here we are, back out in the back garden. Back in the back. And just having a little read. Days are getting nicer, but you never know what's going to happen. So
okay, it's Canto 4, Chapter 3, Text 22.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Text 22. My dear young wife, certainly friends and relatives offer mutual greetings by standing up, welcoming one another and offering obeisances. But those who are elevated to the transcendental platform, being intelligent, offer such respects to the super soul who is sitting within the body, not to the person who identifies with the body. It may be argued that since Daksha was the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, it was certainly the duty of Lord Shiva to offer him respect. In answer to the argument, it is explained here that when a learned person stands up and offers obeisances in welcome, he offers respect to the super soul who is sitting within everyone's heart. It is seen, therefore, among Vaishnavas that even when a disciple offers obeisances to his spiritual master, the spiritual master immediately returns the obeisances because they are mutually offered not to the body but to the super soul. Therefore, the spiritual master also offers respect to the super soul situated in the body of the disciple. The Lord says in Srimad Bhagavatam that offering respect to his devotee is more valuable than offering respect to him. Devotees do not identify with the body, so offering respect to a Vaishnav means offering respect to Vishnu. It is stated also that as a matter of etiquette, as soon as one sees a Vaishnav, one must immediately offer him respect, indicating the super soul sitting within. A Vaishnav sees the body as a temple of Vishnu. Since Lord Shiva had already offered respect to the super soul in Krishna consciousness, offering respect to Daksha, who identified with his body, was already performed. There was no need to offer respect to his body, for that is not directed by any Vedic injunction. So, I think we mentioned this in the last one. I think pretty sure, that Prabhupada said even if you see like a sannyasi from another school of thought, you still offer respect. You don't disrespect them. You still can offer your obeisances or just respect. And that it's because at the end of the day, the super soul is situated in that body. But at this point here at the end it says, since Lord Shiva had already offered respect to the super soul in Krishna consciousness, offering respect to Daksha, who identified with his body, was already performed. Now, the thing is, the reason all this happened is because everyone, apart from Lord Brahma, I believe,
and Lord Shiva.
No, everyone apart from Lord Brahma did offer their respects, meaning obeisances and just respects, stood up or whatever. Lord Shiva remained seated, and so for someone who's on the bodily platform, they don't appreciate what's being said here, that this is a very learned fellow here, and respect is still there because they're expecting something to show this. Either he should have stood up, and that along with everyone else, and that shows he's offering me respects, or in a day, he's my son-in-law, he could have got down on the floor and offered me obeisances, but because he didn't get up, that's the point. And so, but Prabhupada's saying that actually he did offer his respects just as any learned person would, which is to the super soul, but for Daksha he didn't see any movement, as even if it was like a pranam, or even that may have upset him because he didn't get up. But so for him, it made no difference if Lord Shiva was sitting there in his mind or whatever, offering some respect, because he can't see that. He can't differentiate that. If, like, let's say Lord Shiva got up and, out of respect, like everyone else did, to offer his respects to the super soul, at least to someone who's in a bodily consciousness like Daksha, he'd see it as, yeah, he offered me respects, regardless of where Lord Shiva's at. But because Lord Shiva remains standing, and he's ignorant, as it were, so for him it's like, you just didn't offer me any respects. They just didn't do anything.
Yeah, so your point is that someone who's on the bodily platform may need to see that external gesture happen. It's more important for them to see it happen so that they kind of get it and they understand that there is some level of respect and appreciation manifesting. Is that correct?
Yeah, because they're on a lower gyan, intellectual level than a transcendentalist. Like even spiritual masters, we don't want them to be going on the floor and offer a basis. Prabhupada said sometimes they do, and we see that they do, but sometimes I've seen that at the very least, when you do that, you may be across the road or at a distance, at the very least they put their hands together, or some head nod or some acknowledgement is there. And for those of us, obviously like myself, are on a certain lower level, you think, oh, you acknowledge me, regardless of where their consciousness is and how they're acknowledging you and what they're seeing Krishna or whatever in your heart like that. But yeah, someone on a bodily platform feels, oh, Maharaj acknowledging me,
Yeah, I mean, this is a really important and powerful point, because even still now, when I offer respects to someone, I still genuinely feel I'm offering respects to them as a Vaishnava, as a devotee, as a personality. But what's being said here is that really, genuinely what we're doing is we're offering respects to Krishna in the heart, the super soul that's in the heart. But this purport has several levels in it, actually, because then Prabhupada goes on to say that Krishna himself declares that higher than worship of him is worship of his devotees. So I think, although Daksha may have been on a material platform in certain levels, but still he was also a devotee of Krishna. That's there. But yeah, there's so many things there. There's etiquette, which you mentioned. Brahma and Shiva didn't stand up because there's an etiquette. They're the senior most devatas. They don't need to stand up. But Daksha felt that Shiva needed to stand up because regardless of his position as Lord Shiva, he was his son-in-law, which means he was subordinate. So this is a mood of pride and arrogance, and it's based on bodily platform, which is really, you could say, the essence of all this. Now, it sounds like what you're saying is that, yeah, Lord Shiva should have understood that, and for that reason he should have just stood up or done some gesture to kind of, acknowledge. But he's not obliged to do that because he's in the senior position, regardless if he married his daughter. But he's, then even more Daksha should feel, oh yeah, he's such an exalted person. He's my son-in-law. I have Lord Shiva as my son-in-law.
Proud in that way.
Yeah, but he doesn't necessarily feel like that either. So, it is interesting that Prabhupada takes the whole beginning of the purport to make this point about how important it is to offer obeisances to each other, because we're offering obeisances to the Super Soul. Even the Guru will offer obeisances to the disciple, which also the Guru is in a senior position, and he doesn't need to do that either. But Prabhupada is saying that he would do that because the offering obeisances to to the devotee is higher than offering obeisances to the Lord himself. But then there's this whole twist that Lord Shiva didn't do it. And for me, the only rationale is because he didn't need to, because he is so senior. And out of etiquette, he wouldn't do it. Otherwise, then he'd walk into assembly and he'd have to offer obeisances to everyone. Generally, when a sannyasi walks into the room, everyone offers obeisances to him. But he doesn't necessarily go around and offer obeisances to everyone else. We see, we're reading in Krishna book, when Krishna enters an assembly, certain people will welcome and worship him in a certain way. And like we just were reading that, when he came for the Rajasuya sacrifice, Krishna embraced Yudhisthira Maharaj. Because they're like friends, they're like cousins, and so they have a certain relationship. But Yudhisthira Maharaj was also offering him respects and worship. So there's etiquette there that needs to be followed as well. So there's an interesting little twist here. It's definitely a very good purport and lesson there that for most of us, we should just offer respects to all devotees. That's the easiest thing.
Easiest way not
and not fall into thinking, oh, I have a senior position, I don't need to offer respects to this one. We should always offer some respects.
And but also to avoid any offense, because whether they're junior or senior, you don't want someone holding a grudge and, oh, look what, you just be peaceful.
Yeah, exactly.
We could not be humble enough, let's be honest.
Yeah, who was it? Raghunath Das Goswami was offering something like 2,000 or 1,000 obeisances every day. To every devotee you would see would offer his obeisances. So
that might not be practical for us, but
might not.
You get the point.
But why not try? Okay, let's see. The next purport and paragraph, I think, is super long, right? No.
Yeah.
23. Yeah. So I think we're going to leave it at that. So this is a short one, as they say, short and sweet. And next time we'll pick up with the longer purport. And wishing you all well. Please read Srimad Bhagavatam wherever you are, whenever you are, however you are. Just it's always good to read and absorb ourselves in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.